You don't have a discipline problem. You have a timing problem. Most people spend years trying to become more consistent, but the effort never seems to match the result. You white-knuckle through one day, then collapse the next. You tell yourself you need more willpower. You tell yourself you need better habits. But the cycle just continues. And somewhere underneath the frustration is a question you haven't quite been able to answer. Why does this keep happening to someone who clearly knows better? Here is why. The problem is not your discipline across the day. The problem is what happens between things. It is the small, shapeless moments, when one task ends and the next hasn't started. When your brain is briefly untethered. When nothing is demanding your attention yet. Those moments feel harmless. They feel like rest. But they are where the pattern actually lives. Think about when it really happens. Not in the middle of focused work. Not when you're in a rhythm. It happens at the edges. The moment a task ends. The moment you're about to begin something that requires real effort. The moment the day shifts from one phase to the next. Therefore, the enemy was never the long stretch of the afternoon. It was always the gap at the start of it. This is what most advice misses entirely. Your brain does not seek distraction because it is weak. It seeks distraction because the moment of starting something new carries a specific kind of discomfort. Not pain, not fear, just a quiet resistance. The friction of a mind that hasn't yet committed to the next thing. And in that fraction of a second, before you've consciously decided anything, the path of least resistance is already taken. You didn't choose it. It chose itself. Therefore, the habit runs without a trigger, without boredom, without a notification, without any external pressure at all. It runs on the automatic logic of a brain that has learned one simple rule. When in transition, escape the discomfort of beginning. The brain isn't broken. It is just solving the wrong problem. Efficiently, every time. This is the mechanism beneath the surface. Every repeated distraction, every pulled phone, every delay that quietly stretches from 2 minutes into 40. It is not a character flaw. It is a learned response to the friction of transition. And because it happens so fast and feels so minor, you never quite caught it happening. So you kept fighting the wrong battle. You tried to improve your discipline across all 16 waking hours. But discipline spread that thinly across an entire day is almost impossible to sustain. Therefore, the effort becomes exhausting, the failure feels total, and you conclude that something is fundamentally wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You were just applying a precise solution to the wrong problem, and a blunt solution to the right one. Here is what that costs, if the pattern holds. Every day you stay in this misunderstanding, you spend your energy in the wrong places. You build guilt where you should be building precision. You treat every hour as equally fragile, when only certain moments are. Therefore, the exhaustion compounds, the self-doubt deepens, and the gap between who you are and who you are capable of being quietly widens. The shift starts with this. Stop trying to manage all of yourself, all day. Start managing the transitions. There are likely only 2 or 3 of them that consistently break you. You already know where they are. The first stretch of the morning before you've locked into anything. The slow re-entry after the middle of the day. The vulnerable gap between finishing work and the rest of the evening. Those are your edges. Therefore, those are the only places that need your full attention. Protect the entry. Hold the transition. Commit to the next thing before the gap opens. Not with more willpower, with a clear, deliberate bridge between what just ended and what begins next. A short, physical action. A fixed, repeated sequence. Something small enough that it requires almost nothing, but specific enough that it closes the gap before the brain fills it with something easier. Do this consistently at your 3 edges, and the rest of the day largely takes care of itself. Not because you became more disciplined, because you stopped asking discipline to carry weight it was never designed for. You don't need to be strong for 16 hours. You need to be precise for 90 minutes. And you need to be precise in the right 90 minutes. The discipline you've been looking for was never about the whole day. It was always about the moment just before you begin.